talk about some of the best practices for doing business in Canada. My name is Jennifer Shilson. With me is Marco Dolphy. We're principals in the Canadian Law Group of Miller Canfield. We both practice in the area of corporate commercial law. Canada, and Ontario in particular, would be a logical and relatively easy first step for businesses in Michigan seeking to do business in Canada. While Canada and Ontario are very similar to the US, there are some substantial differences. Marco, in your experience, what are some of the myths about doing business in Canada?
One of the most common myths is that it's complicated to start a business in Canada. Canada is consistently ranked as one of the best places in the world to start a business. Its high ranking comes from the ease of setting up a business, the ease of employing workers, enforcing contracts, and our favorable tax rates. Setting up a business in Canada is no more difficult than setting up a business in one of the different states.
Marco, what would you say is the biggest difference between Ontario employment laws and those in the US?
In Canada, we have no employment at will. In the US, employment at will is the common concept. Instead, employers seeking to terminate the employment of an employee have to provide the employee with reasonable notice. Reasonable notice is deemed to be 1 week for every year of service to a maximum of 8, but this concept can actually be extended by the common law.
What could you do to manage the risk associated with engaging employees in Ontario?
Well, with proper planning, Miller Canfield typically would establish contracts which would limit that liability to the minimum required under Employment Standards Act.
So if an employer was coming into Ontario and they didn't get employment contracts in place, they could potentially be making a big mistake. Are there other mistakes that are commonly made when businesses come into Canada?
Compliance with regulatory and immigration issues is critical for any business that's starting up in Canada. In terms of immigration, non-residents that cross the border without complying with immigration could find themselves either being turned away at the border or worse, being banned. These consequences can be easily avoided by having proper documentation in place before crossing the border. Miller Canfield's Immigration Services assists with a whole range of immigration-related issues.
Are there other mistakes associated with lack of planning that you've experienced?
Well, the other common mistake is that non-residents often believe that because their corporate structure works in the US, it'll work in Canada. Oftentimes, the use of a limited liability company in Canada will have unintended tax consequences.
In conclusion, I think we've dispelled some of the myths about doing business in Canada, and hopefully we've helped you avoid some of the common mistakes. With offices in North America, Europe, and China, Miller Canfield is uniquely positioned to assist its clients seeking to establish an international presence. And we're passionate about it because we've seen the advantages ourselves.